And so in the game for the Rockets. Durant is out there with Hastings. Then it's Thompson. Then it's Austin Reed. And it's Şengün in at the 5. Now, here's Şengün. Now, Reeves. 6 to shoot. Pass to Hastings. Now, Şengün. Houston needs to get a shot. Whoops, there's the 24-second shot clock violation, so they'll turn it over.
And that is an absolute heartbreaker of a turnover. In a close game like this, that might be enough to impact how it ends.
The Rockets making a switch here. Van Vliet's checked in. Now here's Williamson. He has 6. Jordan dishes to Murray. Shot goes down and gets this game back to even. Murray's got 13.
This is something that we've seen Murray continue to work on over the years. His three-point shot has improved every year.
To the inside. Here's Şengün.
And he's an automatic finisher when he gets into that area.
He is, and he picks the simple one-hand stuff to get the 2 points. Pass to Jordan. Now here's Murray. All sorts of time. The putback, he hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points. Williamson's got it all tied up now for the Pelicans.
The Zion able to convert on that second chance opportunity.
Look at KD going to work inside.
And guys, the D has to show a little more fight on the interior than they did on that trip.
Now here's Williamson. He's guarded closely. The shot, no good.
Something that's kept this game close is the fact that the rebound stats for both teams are almost identical.
Murray against Van Vliet. Şengün inside. Hastings, that's good. And now a 4-point Rocket lead.
Yeah, that's the 3rd bucket in a row from the paint. This defense needs to clog those lanes in the middle.
And it's Captain Clutch with the foul. That's foul number 2 for him.
When Pat shows up at the arena like he did on SmackDown, he shows up in the Dodge Ram truck. Dodge Ram being the official sponsor of WWE's WrestleMania. And this is the moment where if you lost me last week and you lost me this week at the beginning, you lost me again. That says that he called Ram Trucks the sponsor for WrestleMania and then announced a 25% ticket price discount. So I think he's got the shoot part of the promo against Punk. He starts talking a little bit of Randy, and then he transitions into his sponsorship advertising sales pitch for WrestleMania, the piece that TKO wants Pat to get across. That's the whole point to all of this. In the most convoluted, nonsensical way of trying to get people to buy tickets for Mania. From last week to this week, it's constantly just, tickets are too expensive. Punk saying it. Lower the ticket prices! Pat is saying it supposedly from the perspective of the fan, and that because he is an agent of change and a hero, Pat is trying to speak on behalf of fans that can't afford tickets. Cody Rhodes is a puppet champion, corporate champion, so Pat is the savior, and also Randy is there too, to save us from corporate bad WWE product. So he called the sponsorship company, the corporation, and said, give us a deal on tickets. And then he did it. But it's also
for small business owners, taxes, more questions than answers.
Now that, in hindsight, we were wrong about the whole Pat McAfee thing on last week's edition of WWE SmackDown. We said that it didn't seem like this thing could get worse. We thought, all right, this is as bad as it gets, right? We're talking WrestleMania 42 here. No way it can be that bad. Again, you can't have SmackDown in this particular angle leading it to the Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton match for the undisputed WWE title. You can't have that again, right? There we got it. Because on this week's edition of SmackDown, they decided to perhaps top it with another mind-blowing piece of professional wrestling crap that we saw on display in San Jose. And yes, I'm traveling. I was wondering, maybe the SmackDown there won't be that many things to talk about, right? So I don't have my usual setup and all this other stuff. I'm currently sitting in the floor recording this video because I just had to talk about this absolutely fascinating development yet again on the road to WrestleMania 42, which now, don't forget, you can get 25% off tickets for night one. But we'll explain why that is here in just a second. Pat McAfee came back, and on Twitter or wherever else, he teased a big, massive mystery surprise that he would have for everyone. And it turns out that surprise was simply Ram Trucks offering a 25% discount on tickets to WrestleMania 42 Night 1. Just Night 1, because Pat said Night 2 sucks ass. Wasn't the only time we hear about sucking ass in this particular segment, as he also said the same phrase to Cody Rhodes about Triple H's ass. So that's where we are, leading into this high-stakes, undisputed WWE title match. What else did Pat McAfee have to say? Well, he took aim at CM Punk and said all kinds of things about Punk. He threw a couple of Saudi Arabia lines in there. He talked about the way Punk dresses and all this other stuff that, again, absolutely has no reason to be mentioned whatsoever on WWE programming leading into the biggest show of the year. There is no logical sense. How many times have I said that phrase now in the past 2 weeks? There is no logical sense. I just said it again. When it comes to Pat McAfee and CM Punk having any war of words whatsoever, because the stories they're telling on WWE television regarding the two main events really don't have a lot to do with you. But yet, we had Pat McAfee, who had to respond to CM Punk, who cut an incredible promo on Raw this week, as we talked about. But once again, we're going down this road of getting further and further away of the things that actually have some sort of meaning. The things that actually matter when it comes to a championship title match at the biggest show of the year. We're once again moving further away from that. But had to get his lines in about CM Punk, so now that had to continue, right? We also, again, had Pat McAfee going face-to-face with Cody Rhodes, the current champion, the guy who's supposed to be the guy on your show, guy who's supposed to feel like the QB1, right?
When life happens, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it's there for Marcus. Even though he lost his job, he's not worried about finding a new health plan anymore. There are many ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov where millions have found the coverage they need.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? If so, you need to stop now and immediately call an experienced auto accident attorney. Look at this check for
How many times the past 2 weeks has Cody Rhodes not even come close to feeling like that? Because of Pat McAfee. Of all people, Pat McAfee, who was able to, anything he said, of course, again, he talked about the whole sucking ass with Triple H and the backstage politics and all this shoot type stuff that we're supposed to believe we should care about when we don't. But Pat also is the person who thwarts Cody Rhodes when he's trying to take aim at Randy Orton, who came out, as you would expect in this one. And so, Pat McAfee is able to get a couple cheap shots in on Cody Rhodes. And then, Pat walks off with the title around his shoulder and leaves the building with the undisputed WWE title on his shoulder. Not Randy Orton, the person you're supposed to actually care about the most in this particular feud, because he's the person chasing that elusive 15th world title win. Orton's a background player. The guy who won the Elimination Chamber is a background player for Pat McAfee, the announcer, who has stepped in to be the central focus of a feud that had 15 plus years worth of story to it. We all know the reasons why. We mentioned it on videos on the channel this week. There's no reason to rehash that. The angle sucks. The Pat McAfee insertion sucks. There's no reason to keep repeating that same phrase. However, something I also said was that not only are they pretty much just, taking it to Cody for a third straight year in terms of someone else trying to insert themselves into the Cody Rhodes universe here, whether it was The Rock a couple of years ago, whether it was kind of the whole John Cena heel turn into the Travis Scott thing last year, and now it's a Randy Orton heel turn into Pat McAfee this year. But no. I told you guys, you remember the line, I'm sure. I said, we're absolutely getting a Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee match at some point. Reports came out on Friday that that's going to happen at Backlash. And we knew it though. Like, it should not be a big surprise. And the way they did it on this particular SmackDown, there is zero doubt that we are getting that match as potentially the headliner at Backlash. Because Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee had some words. Jelly Roll shoved Pat McAfee into the wall. And then Cody Rhodes, QB1, undisputed WWE champion, needed Jelly Roll to come out and try to save him. That's where we're at. Weeks ago, when Randy Orton all of a sudden snapped, looked like the Viper again, the Apex Predator, he did exactly what Cody Rhodes told him to do. Be the old Randy Orton. And this is what this is where we're at now. A couple weeks later, we're sitting here talking about them somehow in mind-blowing fashion able to top what they did last week and now basically take Cody Rhodes and just kick the door right in the man's face again. Because this is just terrible professional wrestling programming when it comes to what they're doing right now. And I know there are still people who are defending this. There are still people saying, oh, this is exactly what they want you to think. They want you to hate Pat McAfee. They want you to hate this stuff. At no point will I ever say that it's a good idea for any professional wrestling program to tell the public that it sucks. And also to tell the public that it cannot sell enough tickets to the biggest show of the year. So the guy who said that everyone sucks
What's up, my guy?
What's up, Daddy?
I called you earlier, boy.
I know.
What you doing?
So I can sleep a lot.
You the only one up?
Yeah.
But not consistent. New Orleans with the ball. It's a one-point game. Tries to keep it alive. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Murray. Here's Durant. You can probably expect to see him slow it down now.
Yeah, I think you want to milk your possession.
Cleared away by Jones. And it's the Pelicans with the ball. It's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Murray rebounded by Thompson. And they foul intentionally. They're going to have to do that now again and again. They're not in the penalty yet.
Yeah, you can't let them hold the ball and just milk those last seconds away.
And that's an intentional foul. missing for him. Let's see if he can handle the second. And he ends up making the second, and that will put them up by 2. And so James Borrego decides to call timeout. He made the decision to huddle up with his guys and talk about strategy. Thoughts on what Coach wants to do here?
Big chance here to tie it with a bucket.
And you also have to wonder if they'll try for a 3. But they'll probably try for a 2. But if something opens up outside, I doubt that they will hesitate to take it.
And stolen by Thompson. For the finish, and he pounds it home. I had a feeling he wasn't going to lay that one in. No, sir.
Relentless in their approach, even with the game firmly in hand.
No let up with these guys. They're going for the throat now.
So it's a narrow victory for the Rockets, pulling it out for the W. I think, Greg, they played with a little more of a relaxed demeanor tonight, knowing this was it, now or never.
And their season continues because of that, Kevin. How about forcing a Game 7? This is big, and it's going to be an intense battle. I cannot wait.
It'll be terrific. You're right. And that about wraps it up, folks. We hope you've enjoyed our broadcast of the NBA Western Conference quarterfinals. With Richard Jefferson and Greg Anthony, and along with Allie LaForce on the sideline, I'm Kevin Harlan. Thank you for watching tonight's NBA coverage. But as we go, let's take a look at our player of the game, Captain Clutch.
What's good with you? How you living? How you living? Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you
The
tuning in.
deciding game of the Western Conference first round. The Rockets have endured 6 long games. 3 they have won. 3 they have lost. It is now the last stand. There is no
Is now getting you a
back
25% discount to go watch everybody else who sucks except for Randy Orton.
Will there be an
And by also telling you the show the next night actually sucks
It's all
worse.
coming up next.
So,
well, we didn't have to wait long for the postseason excitement to ramp up this year. Already in round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs, we've got a Game 7 to bring you on 2K Sports. This is Brian Anderson, Coach Stan Van Gundy, and the Hall of Famer Grant Hill here with me at the table, and Allie LaForce reporting from the sidelines.
What you mean, wrapping everyone?
Checking out the New Orleans opening lineup.
What you mean by that?
They've got DeJounte Murray.
ooh, don't forget that.
Out there with Zion Williamson. Then there's Trey Murphy.
I mean,
and
this
Jordan
is just,
in at the 5.
it is one of the
And
most
for Houston,
bizarre,
we've got Austin
but
Reeves,
understandable and predictable, perhaps, developments. If you look at recent trends in recent years,
Hastings, and at the
like, it's one of the most bizarre things I've seen on WWE TV in a good while. Right? I mean, there were some bad angles in the Vince McMahon era, especially towards the end of it, but there were plenty throughout the entire regime. But this is one that just, you expect better right now when it comes to what WWE was able to do a couple years ago, and WrestleMania 40 felt like that sort of peak point where things are booming to a level that
That's just how I be. I don't really care.
It allows KD to kick it out.
What the hell?
Now Williamson. Six to shoot. Hastings with a rebound. Durant with it. Now guarded by Bay. Oh, he lost the grip and he missed the dunk. And so it's Bay who brings up the ball for New Orleans. It's a 3-point game. Murray against Reeves. Murray inside. Yep, that one's good.
Well, if Murray can get that close to the hoop, he's going to make sure he converts.
And so Ime Udoka decides to call timeout. He's going to take a minute to regroup with his players.
shoes are cut like her own. Best boarding and care in the area.
Mission accomplished! Mission accomplished! Mission accomplished! We got the home court! This is going to make everything a lot easier. If we down 3-1, if Luke is not able to come until game 5, things have just gotten a lot easier for this team. A lot easier. Forget about it. We gotta win both game 5 and game 7 at home. That's a given. Just steal one at Houston. We never ever gonna lose an elimination game ever at LA ever again during the GOAT, King LeBron, Luka era. It's time to add, to spice it up, to produce a lot of drama in the first round with the Luka comeback, and he's going to serve the Luka special on Houston. He's going to serve this Luka special. Okay, if this is at game 5, game 7 at Chris, okay, it is over. It is over. This is a huge deal.
From the sideline, let's
if
catch
he
up
comes
with Allen.
back down 3-1 game 5, he decides I'm not going to quit on season. I'm coming back. He'll win this series. He'll win this championship. Try to 3 games, then we come back at home. It is even better if they don't have to come back from 3-1, but at some point they're going to come back from 3-1. It can be against the Thunder, it can be against the Rockets, but hamstrings, no joke. I highly doubt he comes. I would be very amazed if the guys come back during game 1 to game 4. If it's game 5, game 7, we can pull this off. We can just hit straight ways. I'm just envisioning the most magical worst-case scenario, which is for the magical comeback for the first time since 50, but trading momentum over to OKC, get more reinforcement. We get AR-15 for that series, and here we go. But Bronny's going to get the start on Sunday. He's going to play the full game. I did predict the Lakers to go 2-3 since Luka's injury in his 23rd season goal in LeBron James. So we know that he is going to rest on Sunday. Because the trash-ass Houston Rockets, they lost against the Timberwolves today. This team is garbage, okay? It's like spicing up the tape. Okay. I'm pretty sure the Rockets' winning streak is a big fluke. Everything was in turmoil just 2 weeks ago. NBA wasn't scripted away for the Rockets. We know the real fraud the Rockets showed up today. Okay, they don't play no defense. They can't take on double teams. They don't have point guard. Okay, this team is shook. 59 games in the season for King Goat LeBron James. 59 games in the season. It's what Shadows are coming in suggested. He's not playing on Sunday. Game from Patrick. 59 game regular season for King Goat LeBron James. His regular season has ended against the loser Phoenix Suns. The last win of the regular season, Phoenix Suns 56, Houston Rockets 56. Lakers finished 52 wins, they go to 56 wins. This is what I'm envisioning. This is what we have talked about
the Pelicans shooting an unremarkable 30% in the first.
18 wins finished the season since Luka is AR-15 injury. So I think they're going to lose the game against the Jazz on Sunday because Ronnie is playing and everybody is going to be rested.
Pass to Durant.
Marcus Smart to be rested. Joe Devontae going to be rested. Again, the Lakers have to finish with 30 losses because Doncic is 30 and LeBron is Devontae 30. So I think they will end the regular season with 30 losses.
So timeout called here. The first for New
Where
Orleans.
does this leave the Jazz? The Jazz to get their 23rd win against both Team LeBron James. They could get their 13th win in the conference against the Lakers. Now they could also go for their, I guess the game hasn't been updated. Okay, the Jazz are at 12 and 39 against the conference. LA's 13, but then the LA Lakers equal 40. They could always get their 33rd loss away, but if they get their 9th win away, then you know Luke gets to watch at 9. So again, they're going to play a very weak lineup. Adu Piero is going to play. Bronny James is going to play. Drew Time is going to play. Nick Smith is going to play. Dalton Ness will probably play. So a lot of cats are going to rest up next Sunday. This upcoming Sunday, it's a game that the Lakers don't need. May as well fit everybody, get as much rest as can be. Emotional turmoil from the injuries of AR-15 and Luka, so rest everybody. Rest Hachimura.
Now 5 seconds separating the shot clock from the game clock.
Rest everybody.
You founded your kayak company because you love the ocean, not spreadsheets. You need to hire. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
Three-pointer. And it's Queen with a rebound. 4 for 3. And that's not going to go. 1 quarter in the books. And it's been a close one. It's Houston. They're up by 2. And our coverage of Game 7
We'll see what lineup they get. If guys play forward, it's pretty much after the quarter. That's what's been happening. But in lifting that, there's no excuses. This blue cross, big front, it doesn't matter if they were without Devin Booker. Okay, let's not omit the fact that there is no AR-15, there is no Luka Doncic.
Aggressive defense.
So for the Pelicans right now,
I think they're starting to turn it up defensively over these last 2 victories.
Then it's Eve Misi, and it's Queen in a
I think defensively they really took it to the loser beating Suns. I really believe that they really took it to the Golden State Warriors.
That's their first turnover.
Okay, let's pick a good point guard. Grayson Allen, this guy's big time. He's an NBA champion. Royce O'Neal off the bench. Dylan Brooks. I forgot Jalen Green got hurt. Okay, so it's okay. I mean, still, Jalen Brooks, Grayson Allen is not a bad team. It's not bad. It's the Royce O'Neal.
And stolen by Murray. To the inside. Boom! He jams it straight down.
I don't think they win with Bronny in there on Sunday. I think Lakers have to finish with 56 wins. Look at the 56 wins against the Rockets. If they'll fucking have to. We're going to move on to the conference finals. We're going to take on the Celtics, Lakers Celtics. The dream matchup first year with Amazon, with NBC.
It's hauled in by New Orleans.
NBA needs a big boost of ratings for these 2 years. You're okay. But you can take advantage of the ratings with New York against LA next year. New York versus LA. We get the LA, Lakers, Boston Legacy Series.
And so it's Murray who brings up the ball for New Orleans.
Maybe you'll get placed into the finals someday again.
New Orleans calls
coming in will probably make it at the point. Wembley's going to definitely make it. He's going to be in there. They've got some good competition going out there in the West. Like can still be a good team with Luka. Don't know if the third star is going to be. Cavs are nothing. Detroit for real. Cunningham their defense. purgatory teams, Atlanta, Orlando are purgatory teams. I don't know how old Gobert is. Don't know if Nap Reed's contract situation. So Anthony Edwards will obviously be a big-time player, but NBA's about the international superstars, so Anthony Edwards, he's going to get the short end of the stick. There's always that one guy that never makes it to the finals. I mean, it was Chris Paul, and he made it later on his career, so who knows what's going to happen with
Thompson's checked in for Fred VanVleet, and the Pelicans also making a change.
Unfortunately,
Williamson's checked in.
Loser Phoenix Suns will win the championship, I don't think, during Devin Booker's career, and despite how bright the future is. But I mean, my main point there is that even if you have Lakers something, even if you have Lakers Knicks back-to-back years, it doesn't matter. I think even if the Lakers made it to the finals and the NBA catches in on LA versus Boston and LA versus New York, I still think the future has been set up pretty well with Joker and Tatum and Wembanyama and Brunson and Giannis to the New York Knicks and Cunningham and another star joining the LA Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard's going to be that guy that's got to kind of stick along another superstar for a few years. So, okay, NBA doesn't need to put young superstars in the finals this year. All they need is to put an international superstar in the NBA finals, and this is.
With Ride-Time, you can get a pretty fast ride on your phone with no credit. I just need to afford the hawk with about thousands of cars under 15 grand. You customize your terms on computer. I can change my down payment.
All right, guys, what do you think about the offensive
Go get your real deal at Ride-Time.com.
Well, I like how they're going.
At DJscout.com, you can hunt down all your favorite movies, music, and games for delicious low prices. Like this one. I like Barbara Chargers Curl.
Wet down there in the paint early on. Not shying away at all, taking it inside. What a great way to start.
And you look at Zion.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of SmackDown, as well as the wildest news, stories, and reviews you need to know, including WWE should be embarrassed by this. Wrestlers are unhappy with Pat McAfee's involvement. Jake Cargill denies steroid use. Shawn Michaels' response to a decade-old Vince McMahon and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive links.
Decides to call timeout. He might have seen something and needs to review with his guys. So both teams changing it up here. Rockets trail by 6.
As always, we'll recap the show, which is looking good, the bad, or downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good. Did you notice who was in the back? As Randy Orton and Pat McAfee made their way to the front after taking out Cody Rhodes' Jelly Roll, did you manage to catch Aleister Black and Zelina Vega in the background? However, that wasn't the only time Black appeared. Earlier in the night, he was also visible in the background during the segment involving Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee. That's where things get a little interesting. With Orton now positioned as a heel and McAfee firmly by his side, it's more than just a coincidence. Black appearing twice during the night, and there's a length of speculation that he could be involved, potentially aligning with Orton and McAfee to form a new alliance. If that turns out to be the case, he could play into WrestleMania with Black joining McAfee and Orton and possibly create a much larger faction in the process. Yay! Number 2, Royce Key's dominant debut. And finally, we actually had Royce Key on WWE television, not a dark match on WWE main event. He's definitely made a strong impression in his return, delivering a dominant squash victory over Berto. Just imagine how far this guy has come along in wrestling. He was once a security guard, and now he's on SmackDown as an active wrestler. However, it wasn't just his in-ring performance that stood out. The backstage segment was those who approached Keys after the match quickly shifted attention to what could come next. Rather than suggesting a recruitment into the bloodline, the interaction pointed more towards a potential clash, with Solo appearing to mark his territory against a new threat on SmackDown. I mean, both haven't got a WrestleMania match, so why not? Number 3, a great promo from McIntyre. And during the pre-tape vignette filmed inside a jail cell, McIntyre accused Batcher of being a failure as a man and a failure as a father,
claiming he chose a life of crime over his family. Many will know that Jacob Fatu has actually spent time in prison when he was young. Some may have felt that referencing criminal elements in Fatu's past made him uncomfortable, but despite that, McIntyre's delivery was spot on, many noting that he came across as serious, believable, and dangerous. The closing line of "I'll be your judge, your jury, and your damn executioner" is absolutely fantastic. Number 4, a very nice debut win. Danhausen's in-ring debut on SmackDown delivered exactly what many were hoping for. More importantly, it showed that he was back up the persona inside the ring. The great detail was his character, being announced from 1-3-1-1 Rocky Red Lane and nods to the Munsters. Without any detail that added to his unique persona, with WWE leaning fully into his eccentric, pop-culture-driven character. And the match itself stayed true to that identity. At one point during the match, Danhausen delivered his curse, triggering a sudden pyroblast by Wilson, and the distraction created the opening he needed to secure the win. There's definitely some growing demand among the fan houses to see him paired with our troops for a potential tag team run. Number 5, an entire malfunction leads to quick thinking. The WWE seems to have a pattern when it comes to San Jose. Bailey and Alexa Bliss always end up facing each other. It happened in 2017, again in 2022, and now once more in 2026. However, the bout took an unexpected turn due to a visible footwork mishap. During a roll-up attempt by Bliss as she tried to secure a quick pin, the tire issue caused both stars to pause. The netting from Bailey's gear got tangled with Bliss's top, and as they came out of the pin, the situation became very noticeable. As Bailey tried to get back to her feet, Bliss's top began to shift. A bit of an awkward movement in the middle of the match, but that's when Bailey entered the play. Realizing what happened immediately, she stopped, sat back down to help fix the issue before it could escalate. To maintain the flow and stay in character, Bailey just struck Bliss during the reset, fully transitioning the match back into action. This really showed quick thinking here, and it's not the first time she's done so. What could have turned into a much bigger wardrobe issue was handled professionally, allowing the match to continue without further disruption. But that was good. What about the bad? As number 1, WWE totally missed logic. After targeting Cody Rhodes last week, most fans expected Pat McAfee to address him again. But instead, he shifted gears completely, spending over 6 minutes focused entirely on CM Punk. So let's face it, he didn't hold back on it, calling Punk a spineless bomb, questioning his level of fame, bringing up what he described as hypocrisy in Punk's past stance on Saudi Arabia. He also took a direct shot at Punk's value as a main event star, asking why fans should spend money on WrestleMania if Punk is one of the most featured names. While positioning himself as a heel, McAfee addressed Punk's criticism about ticket prices, only to follow it up by promoting a 25% discount. And that was the reveal. This was the major surprise that Pat McAfee was talking about, a cheap plug. And ironically, instead of weakening Punk's argument, it ended up reinforcing it. And even if the discount didn't apply directly to Punk's match on night,
we've talked about it in the past, they have a deep rotation that allows them to play matchups.
So why aren't they ahead in this game? And I'll tell you why. The starters have to do more.
Looking at the scenario for the Houston Rockets. Game 7, we know how much is at stake. Kenny, what's it like to play in one of those?
Well, it's normal to have some nerves. You can't shake those off. Those butterflies, they quickly remove when the game starts. Normally, guys get better in the second half.
First of all, Ernie shouldn't be asking Ernie that question because I never got nervous. I instilled fear in my opponents. So let's see who's built for this
FBI says Gucci Mane gave statements to police about alleged robbery and kidnapping report. The FBI said Gucci Mane gave statements to police about the alleged robbery and kidnapping that Pusheisty and 8 others have been charged with. On Wednesday, April 8th, Pusheisty appeared in court in Dallas for a detention hearing to decide whether he would be freed on bond during the hearing. FBI Special Agent Pamela Hansen testified about the government's findings. She revealed that most of the complaints relied on statements that Gucci Mane and the other alleged victims told police after being called to the scene by a member of Gucci's security on the night of the incident, the Dallas Morning News reports. Gucci and the other alleged victims have not been interviewed by the FBI, but those interviews have been scheduled, Hansen said. She also admitted that authorities did not have the contract released from the who allegedly made Booba sign at gunpoint. Who's attorney, Brad Petrola, charged the government's case on the unusual that they waited 3 months after the alleged incident to make an arrest. I think that the testimonies all over the place, coinciding court, according to journalist Bryson Boom Paul, who rested his hands before the wall and his legs were shaking during cross-examination. The rapper shook his head in disbelief, but Hansen said that Gucci Mane told his security put the gun down after they were outnumbered by Cruz's crew. Ultimately, Judge Lenny Harry Congress granted the prosecution's motion to deny the rapper's bond. I can't find any condition or offer that haven't already been granted to you. Sullivan told Proof in reference to him being on house arrest at the time of the alleged crime. Shiesty, his father, Big 30, and 6 other men have been charged in connection with the alleged robbery and convicted. They can face life in prison.
Today was a wild day for Shiesty, Big 30, chocolate gang, Gucci Mane, robbery, kidnapping case, man. A lot of updates, a lot of 360s. At first, everybody's trying to clear the Gucci Mane name, say he ain't do this, and we jumping the gun and all this stuff, right? Big 30 lawyer come out and evidence, this, that, again. Shiesty lawyer, he was caught.
Thompson's got 4
And
points.
he's saying right here.
I don't like the government put the initials in and then put the initials in the dog. We all know who they are, right? I'm not going to say it's this person or that person, that's not my job to do. But certainly there have been individuals that we suspect were involved in that evening where they're denying that it's true or they're denying that it was connected to the government. I think that's the lead well because of what the government put forward today.
That's their plan to get him an opportunity to finish in tight. That's a miss.
But the defense interview him again. The defense interview him again. So my understanding is that guy has over the past 4 months none of the alleged victims, and allegedly they all have future dates to give statements. But I have no idea if that's true or basing it on what the agent said on the stand. And each one of those witnesses from that evening is going to appear and give a statement to the federal authorities. So RG never made a statement, as we know. Not to the FBI, but that evening it appears from the material that they produced and from the agent's testimony is that RG gave a statement that evening. But since that it's not given another statement. But the FBI said in the future they're all scheduled to give statements to life.
There's the drive. The basket's good. Off the assist from Thompson.
That Gucci man around.
He's got his 4th assist.
Whether you say, the biggest man, just that he said, basically, as soon as the robbery was over, Gucci and them drove straight to the police. And they told they identified Shiesty,
It's a 5-point game.
identified Shiesty, Big 30, and others. They got the incident report and everything. What I'm tripping on with Shiesty was like, and Big 30, they keep saying there ain't no evidence, there ain't no jury, there ain't no.
Clock at 5. New Orleans needs to get off a shot. And again, New Orleans no good. The
Roger built growth and Ash monetize your screen time with Tester Up app. You play simple games, complete challenges, and earn real money. Literally while you're scrolling and testing content ideas. Your content doesn't need to be perfect. Just keep posting and remember, likes and clicks you can earn extra time.
I'm just shocked that, when they say there might be video on it, they don't have it. There might be mystery content they don't have it. They were
checked in for Houston. Jones, he's checked in for the Pelicans.
Yes, right. They didn't catch the jury when they busted.
It's both from the
Shiesty father.
What separates Shingu
Big
from
30
most
like
other
that, right?
players is his level
Well,
of
we got
skill,
the picture,
plus his
but it's
basketball
good.
IQ,
So why?
a really polished player.
And that's the same shit that RG, a.k.a. Gucci, and BG put in the incident report. The Gucci they just put in the watches, chains, the chains. He do put that in the incident report. He missing up. Bended. Worth 25,000. Just a chain. Right? Go up there, he's missing money. 3,500. 3,600. And cash. They took the cash. Check the watch. The same watch that they showed in the picture. That they showed this evidence. They showed 2 different watches. One right here worth $250. They took an earring. Worth $250. That's $500K in jewelry right there. He lost 45. They took a ring worth $50K. They took a ring for that $500. Plus, it's almost $600K. Plus the money, that's $600K. Plus the cameras, all this earth, the other business. Come on, man, right? What you want to go on with that?
most efficient this
He ain't wasting no time. He ain't got to take it. He said he ain't supposed to do that. They went straight down. So he ain't even get to talk to people unless he was on the corner phone.
Here's Hastings. 4-3.
Man, his time was already been done. I don't think he had it.
Bay's got his 4th rebound in this one. Here's Williamson.
So it's 100% known for a fact. And the FBI, they saying, and they said under oath, Gucci cooperated, Gucci gave statements and all that stuff. So, why don't you get the same? Why would you? If you don't, that's because you got to. With the statement and evidence, because you know how it was too. With the bullies, it's with bullies. There ain't no ball is really applying that pressure to Big 30. A question of what Big 30 was saying. But they're awesome.
Yeah, he's just looking to find shots and produce for his team.
So shout out to him. I'll take this article out right here, right? Big 30 this morning. And understand, anything that Joe Williams say, he ran about you. Especially when you bring your name up and all this there. And he's saying something that you saying. Right? So ain't no way you can catch it. People believe. So all the home third is Joe Galloway. So how they can be good for Joe Galloway? He ain't been getting no money like that. I wish I could have gone. Used to blow it on that. But you never know. All the home third is worried for rapper Big 30. The childhood friend Gucci collaborated with Shiesty. Also responded to the allegations for his part in trying to get to his client in the incident and made it clear that the only thing Big 30 was guilty of was showing to the studio to record. However, y'all go ahead, take the lemon pepper wings, flat, all that, get it in.
And now we have a moment to reveal our State Farm assist of the game.
Now, I know he's a big man, but he's got some point guard in him if he's making passes like this.
Yeah, well, this is the diversification of positions in this league. Everyone does everything now.
Thanks for joining us again for round 1 of the NBA.
Get it in the ring. However, Oren did know that there was clearly a situation between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. What did that mean? A situation between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. Situation means when the big block comes up, that means something bad, something against the law.
On the wing, it's Fears and Jones.
A situation don't mean you go to the studio and record the beat. A situation don't mean
you bring the cameraman to get some footage.
On the wing, Jones.
A situation don't mean we discuss a contract.
Here's Fears.
Whether we talking about getting out of it, get more money, whatever. It's not a situation.
Not just in points.
A situation is more like
right wing.
It was a fight.
Another one falls for Houston.
Smith came into the league as a capable and confident shooter off the catch.
Like that, that's the situation. Argument.
Van Vliet finds Thompson.
That's the
down low.
situation.
And he jams it home with
But
authority.
we got victims when
The steal was slick. The slam
pointed out.
topped it off.
He's dirty.
That is why you want
Because
to run off
we keep
turnovers.
listening to these lawyers, and they ain't telling the whole truth. Because why is new paperwork coming out?
Continues to
I
produce
keep saying
with
ain't
the
no
team
evidence.
trailing.
Yeah, you know, evidence. When we got an incident report,
Pass to Hastings.
saying all that jury missing, almost 600K.
Behind the
And we got the
Gets
pictures.
the
And
three-ball
then we
good.
got, hold up, big guy.
Hastings has got
We got
32
Steve Rice. You know what we're doing? Big 30 on the bus. You know about Big 30 when you get up in there, and he might fail. And he already in that lane. Tell us, the way you said, Big 30 admitted,
Now the
it was a
Pelicans in
situation
transition.
between Kushite and Richard, and it's throwing a poop under the bus. Big 30 trying to go home. When they asked him to go to the game, to go home.
He knows
Big
an
30
easy
won't go home.
opportunity when he sees
Yeah, Big 30. I thought Big 30 was
Here's
going to
Hastings. The kick out to Van Vliet.
But
Smith outside.
what he say, according to the statement to law enforcement,
Again, it's Houston.
a statement to law enforcement,
Smith
to
Jr.
witness
has made
riot,
that
that's
stroke
Big 30,
so consistent.
pointing a cell phone at RD inside a recording room with assumed at the time that Rice was taking pictures for social media. He never posted no picture on social media when they was in the studio chopping it up with
He wants their
Guwap.
game
He done
plan to
that.
be crystal clear
Yeah,
at
he's
this
done
point.
that. Why he destroyed the cell phone when he came? That's in the paperwork.
Houston
To
making
let
some
that
changes.
Precisely asked RD to terminate his contract, which RD refused to do. At that point, investigators say Precisely and RD argued, then Precisely asked Big 30, asked another defendant to get a bag. Investigators alleged that that person returned with the bag and Precisely pulled out an AK style pistol, held RD at gunpoint, and demanded to sign the paperwork. Hobbs testified that RD complied and signed it. Then Big 30 allegedly recorded RD at gunpoint, saying he was releasing Precisely from his contract.
So,
Man, there's contact.
this is a Big 30 lawyer, and the thing like ain't no evidence. Hold up.
Forcing his way to the
Hold
free
up.
throw line. Zion is so
I told y'all in other videos, I feel like they're going to go at Big 30 because he's playing. He ain't battle
All right,
test.
guys, let's
He
get
ain't
your
been
take
to
on
the
the
federal
scoring breakdown for
rooms
Houston.
and had to really
has been just
stand
exceptional.
on team
It's
and,
opened up
you
the
know,
floor for
based
them
on all
on
the time.
numerous
The only thing he ever really did
Also, they were ultra
was just in that little house
consistent
at
hitting
time.
a high
And
percentage
then
of
his
those
playing was
shots
done
tonight.
and shit.
Well, the bottom
So,
line
so
is this:
that's
Zion
pretty much it.
Williamson is healthy.
So,
He is very tough for defense.
Cause ain't no way you gonna say your man under the fire
Very clear
and say it wasn't a
on your
situation.
plan.
Kushite don't say it wasn't no situation. You can't say that. They don't help him out. Kushite really ain't say it was no situation between him and Gucci, man. Now, Kushite going to say,
As they hit the
yeah,
home stretch.
Kushite did admit it was a situation. Yeah, you can get a look over that. But nah, this lawyer ain't saying that. This lawyer is saying ain't nothing happened to him. Ain't no evidence of nothing. So, yeah, once the police get that footage, they can't break the phone. So I'm thinking they can.
Tries to spin move.
I don't see how they can get the footage. It may take 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You don't get that footage, especially you got that iPhone. Now, this is an iPhone. But I want to see with all the
This is
technology
exactly
they got,
who you want
I
taking
don't think
that
they
shot.
can get that video.
Just missed it.
And what they mean to destroy this, because destroy means crack phone and it won't turn on.
The length
Did
of
you burn
Murray
it? Did
could be
you?
surprising.
Yeah.
He's
But can you still
6'8",
get that
but
video
not
to
good.
your carrier? All you gotta do is go to every carrier. All you gotta do is go to every. Once they go to your email, when you pay your bill, they let them know when you know what I'm saying? When you pay your bill at. I mean, your phone carrier bill. Once they go to the email. No, they don't get all. They don't get a one. They don't need no one. This is the second one to go to the email when they already. Whatever they gotta do, they gotta do it. They say. So if the 30 is going to spin him, he gonna end up doing a gun. Precisely, he gonna get a bond. The bond, you already know what it is. That's why they gave the LeBron $100K and that put it on hold. They know they can get him to talk to the most. They gonna spin everybody and let everybody know we ain't got no video the whole time. They got video. They can lie to the public.
These guys really stepped up.
They can lie. Make the lawyers speak on it, accept it, and everybody else believe it. When we know they see the video.
They really had things going. Their offense carried them tonight, Grant.
How do people always say detail what happened then when the real evidence come out? That's what really happened. Really ain't no video. Why we ain't guessing that good in investigated? Why we can't guess that good on other cases?
You need guys who are going to be clutch.
Come on, man.
Who are going to rise to the occasion, overcome the obstacles. They did everything they had to do.
Who done? He could.
They
pushed him over. They said he tried to get in the courtroom with his head, man, shaking. Making the head with his thing, come on, man. He in disbelief. He said all this stuff. So, we're talking about the ain't gonna cooperate no more. He already stand up. His stamp is over with. Because it don't matter that he married and he got all his money. Yeah, he got healthy and got married and shit like that, but he still push street code. He just said the other day, not too long ago, months ago, it don't matter if it was last year. That's still not long ago.
And that brings him within
no,
10.
Well, you
can't say something last year. He still represented that. He still represented that because what he was going to do, if Contractor would have been with the bullshit and stayed on 10-17, they saw out the music and do a song with him. What much would you rather about? Who thought that game shit? Who you going to rather about on the second verse or the first verse?
Intentionally.
He could be talking that gangster shit. If it was all cool, right, and they just talking to the camera, say the subject of rappers told or other rappers be part of, don't you gonna get the popping this shit how he never told and this and that, when we know he told on G.
Yeah, I mean, like, in the cases on who might be very good excuse because they feel their own heart. Yeah, so like I said, I just if you got a vote to do shit like that, I just like to tell you, y'all ain't gonna look at the vote, who has vote, it's for me has vote.
Well, that'll do it for now. Glad you could join us for the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. For Grant Hill, Steve Van Gundy, and Allie LaForce, this is Brian Anderson signing off. And as we leave, we present our player of the game.
About that now, because all these kids think that you're the #1 killer. And let's don't talk about it no more. Because now you're a dad. You got 2 sons. Yeah. You have 2 sons. So come into that and think about your kids looking at something, and these kids are looking at you a certain kind of way of something that's petitioned. It was done for rap.
So you're saying that, wait a minute, hold on. You're saying that Gucci never did that to Pookie Loc? Oh, wow.
So you got that in there. So we've been lied to the whole time. If everything's true, now we know the Jesus shit true. He said that out of his mouth. So let's say we did give him a pass on this one, which we ain't. He still don't get the pass for the Jesus shit. Yeah, he still don't get the pass for the Jesus shit. So, yeah, man, like, just like Pooh shots your head down, the whole East Atlanta head